Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Lodge Podcast, also known as the Lodge Podcast.
Welcome to episode 21.
That's a big episode.
Huge episode. Last episode was kind of a little bonus episode with the roommates.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one. We talked about complete nonsense, but that's nothing out of the ordinary.
True. We just did it with two more people.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, though. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Completely chaotic with all the cables and
it was a nightmare. The setup, which already is not the most organized setup, just became like an absolute cable hell. But it was fun, though. I enjoyed it.
It was fun. Yeah.
It was. I was holding my microphone because we didn't have another microphone stand.
Yeah, if y'all have ever wondered about our roommates, my brother Caleb and my friend Cole, then you should go watch it. Cole is out of the house. He's in Nashville, which is kind of sad, but he's pursuing his country music career.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's there. Mm-hmm. Why else would you go to Nashville?
Yeah. Hopefully by Friday, I mean, I've been working on this video for so long. Hopefully by Friday that video's out. Really cool video. I think it's at 24 minutes right now.
That's sick. I'm super excited to see it.
So much really cool moments of like Caleb dropping some songwriting gems, you dropping some gems too, and then all
I don't even remember what the hell I said in that video. I was swigging on that bottle of wine the whole time.
The carnivore, the worst wine known to man.
There were several times when I would go to take a swig of the wine and I would just be like, oh, God.
Yeah, on the bottle it says, it's almost like a disclaimer. Like, it says something like, this wine is great with red meat. But it more reads like...
Not much else.
You can only drink this when you have some really red meat.
Yeah. You have to take a bite of the red meat first in order to not get the pure flavor of the wine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge wine guy in general, but that was the worst wine I've ever had for sure.
Yeah. But it was a fun time.
It was.
It was a little bit bittersweet time, but...
It was, definitely. I was definitely, dude, when... Cole first moved out, like the first day he moved out, I was like, wow, I didn't think I would be as sad as I was. Yeah. I was like legit sad.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. He's living it up right now though. Mm-hmm. He's having a good time.
True. Yeah, I'm excited for him.
It feels like it's been a while since we've recorded a podcast because we recorded that episode
it has,
like 2 weeks ago.
Right. What's been going on since then? Anything crazy?
I've got a new song dropping on Friday. Exit Signs, a new Coleman Payne song, which is really exciting. I've been spending a lot of time on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff, marketing it.
I saw that.
And I'm really curious to see if it affects the streams.
Mm-hmm. Did you pitch it to Spotify for Artists and shit? Cool.
Pitched it. I uploaded it a month ago, so I gave it 4 weeks, which is what they tell you to do. Yeah. The pitching. I used to take pitching so seriously. I would like type in, this song is perfect for an indie chill playlist. I've been making music for X amount of years. I have 50,000 subscribers. Now I just say like, dude, if the cow jumps over the moon, then there's a yellow moon. Hope you have a good day, pal.
Yeah.
I just say the weirdest stuff in there because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, so what I've heard is that like they care a lot more about like the story behind why you made it. Because I watched a video on that because I was like curious if it actually did anything as well. And I guess Spotify put out a thing where they said like, this is what they look for or whatever. Yeah. They care about like the story behind how you made the song and like the story of you as an artist. And then also they're like, yeah, like don't do it as if it's a automated email. Do it as if you're talking to a real person because you are talking to a real person. But the thing is also, that's just like to get pitched to release radar. And then there's like a hierarchy of like, these are all the like tiny little playlists that go eventually up to like top 100 hits or like the, you know, whatever it is, like today's top hits, massive mega Spotify playlist. But like it all funnels up there. And like, if you don't make it past like the first tier, it just doesn't matter anyway. So,
well, it's also, so we landed one editorial in our careers. Every Moment, it landed on Fresh Finds Folk.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because that song's, it's got some folky vibes. It's pretty folky, yeah. But yeah, I'd say it's more like indie bedroom poppy than,
I don't think so. Because we didn't really even have drums in that song.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it was just so lo-fi that kind of makes me think of that. But we landed that, and that was I want to say a month after the song dropped.
It was a while after, yeah.
So it wasn't from...
Maybe even longer after.
Yeah.
I think it was a few months after.
It wasn't from the pitching.
No,
it was because we landed another playlist, Alex Rainbird. I'm pretty sure that's how you say them. Shouts out Alex Rainbird.
The
Alex,
man.
yeah, been helping us a bunch. But we landed that playlist, and that was... The song then started getting traction, and then Spotify took notice, and they added us to the editorial. So it wasn't... The pitching did nothing, and especially, like...
The other playlists are much more important than...
That's what I'm saying.
It's like user-created playlists actually matter a lot more.
Totally. Yeah, because if your song picks up traction, then that's when the editors start seeing... They want to look at the numbers.
Totally.
And I don't want to discourage people from, not pitching your music. You should definitely
pitch, yeah.
Definitely pitch it, because release radar is huge. So just getting it on release radar and getting it to the top of your followers' release radar is huge, because there's a lot of people like me. I take release radar pretty seriously, and every Friday I go through all the songs. Dude, I've taken time to like really curate it to where they know exactly what I want, and every time there's a song that's like featuring an artist that I follow, or it's one of those random people who just feature somebody. Yeah. I hate when people do that.
Stupid, dude.
And you play it and you're like, oh, it's a new Alex G song.
Yeah.
And you listen to it and it's some trap beat.
Yeah.
Most annoying thing ever. Those people should be banned
how
from
have
making
they not
music.
fixed that shit yet?
Yeah, it's so annoying, man. But whenever that happens, I like press the little minus button and let Spotify know, hey,
remove this from my taste profile, please.
You messed up. Yeah. But my release radar used to be just absolute nonsense, because I used to follow a bunch of people that I didn't actually want to follow. So every time a song pops up from an artist that I don't want to follow anymore, I unfollow them.
Yeah, you follow a lot of people on Spotify. I don't really follow that many people.
Well, that's how release radar works.
Yeah.
If you follow them, then it's going to go on the release radar. So if you just like a bunch of music, then it's going to be hard for them to discern what you want to see on your release radar.
Yeah. I just look up, to discover new music, I just look up playlists. So I don't really use release radar very much at all, which is kind of a perfect example of like exactly what we're talking about. Like I think the majority of people will just look up playlists for things they want to find.
That's very true. Also, another feature is the little alert bell, because on the top of Spotify, there's the little alert bell with all the new songs that have dropped.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And you can click on that before Friday hits.
What's new thing?
Yeah, because some people drop on Tuesdays.
True.
And then also new podcasts you can see from there. So that's also another way to just see from all your followed artists. But yeah, playlists are so much bigger than all of that. And we landed an editorial because we just got lucky and landed this other big playlist that led the editors to see the song.
And our song's fucking sick.
And there's no way y'all are going to make a song as good as ours.
Yeah. If you happen to make a song that's even in the realm of as good as our song, maybe you'll get on an editorial for a week like we did.
I'm going.
It's actually pretty impressive when you think about it, because we did that video of like ranking our songs, which we had like 20-something songs. 1 out of 20. That's a pretty good percentage to get on an editorial playlist when you think about it that way.
That's a great point.
So,
well, that was also the first song we ever made.
Yeah,
so
it was like 50% of our songs at that time.
Totally, man. I remember calling you.
Yeah.
And saying, dude, did you see the email that I forwarded you? We just landed a playlist.
Because I got the email too, I think. Yeah. And it was pretty nuts, man.
I was like...
That was actually crazy.
I was like, dude, we made it.
We fucking made it, yeah.
We made it.
We're famous.
Then just never happened.
Yeah, then it just plateaued completely. But to be fair, that song still gets like a pretty decent amount of plays. Like,
especially in your fall, which is pretty fun to see.
Totally. Because it's in all those fall fall vibes, like coffee house playlists and everything, which is super cool. But yeah, so new song dropping. Pretty hype.
Pretty hype. Really interested to see if the TikTok game is helping.
Definitely.
I've noticed that, because I'll be on TikTok for like 20 minutes making my video. Not 20, like 10 minutes making my video. And then I'll go over to Instagram, take another 10 minutes doing that, and then go over to YouTube and take another 10 minutes doing that. So that's like 30 minutes out of my day for one video.
Yeah.
And I'll sometimes make 2 videos a day. So that's an hour out of my day. And then that's not even when I instantly get on TikTok and it goes right to the For You page and I get sucked in for like 5 minutes. So I'm just on my phone way more than I used to be because I'm spending so much time more on social media. Yeah. So I don't really know the
risk to reward ratio. Yeah. I agree. Like when I upload the shorts, it takes me like a solid 20 minutes to upload it to every platform.
Yeah.
And I just kind of do it like mass for every platform. I do the same thing. But one thing that I saw, because I was getting a bunch of videos about Doechii when I was kind of like looking into her music, which I mean, like, not the biggest fan of her music, but her like marketing strategy and like the way that she promoted her music and stuff was very cool to see, like how well she did that. And everybody was talking about how, or everybody meaning this one guy that I saw, was talking about how what she did really well was use TikTok to show like the more personable side of her. So like just her doing like just a bunch of like goofy stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Instagram, her content there was tailored towards like her specific brand and like the kind of image she wanted to put out. So it was more like professionally shot content, and it was more like curated to that. And then her YouTube was for like her in real life kind of like really deep kind of content where the people can really connect to it. And so like that kind of platform specific content really helped her a lot. And so I thought about that recently of like maybe doing platform specific content could be kind of the wave, because then like you can go and like follow my TikTok and get something that you're not getting on my Instagram.
That's such a good point, because I'm posting the exact same videos on every platform.
Yeah.
And they are not really the most personality based videos. They're just like, you know, help me quit this job so I can make music all day, help me blow up this audio. And the videos help a lot.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of new followers, and then a lot of new followers.
From each video, there's at least like 3 or 4 people that go and follow you. So
which is great, but that is a great point. I've heard people talk about that, showing your more personable side. But the only thing is that my day is just not that entertaining. Like I'd have to manufacture some personal videos for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just...
But I think that's the thing, like just showing, like basically essentially what you do, like how you're just doing random shit, like standing in a... I was going to say on one of your thing, because you're like, help me quit my job, but like you also don't say like what your job is. It's just in the video, you're like standing in a field, so I was going to comment professional field stander.
yeah.
But like just shit like that you do where you're, you know, standing at your job or like practicing drums or like working out or whatever, that like is your real life. And I think like what we were saying earlier off camera, like our brand is just us being ourselves. And I think that's like what people could relate to. So I feel like that could be basically the content that you're doing already could be kind of the place for that, like on TikTok. Yeah. And then doing Instagram as more like the polished up, like, so maybe like, I don't know, behind the scenes type of stuff, or I don't know, maybe behind the scenes stuff is more like TikTok worthy, or I don't know. I'm no like expert here, but like
I think we should try all this for park rangers.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Really trying to figure that, because it's also just going to be so much easier with 2 people, because to make more personal videos, because we just have that chemistry together, and it's just so much more fun to watch 2 people joke around than one person talk to a camera. Yeah. So that'd be fun if we start taking that more seriously on the social media side and make some content like that.
Yeah, definitely.
We should try that.
Yeah, because, well, actually, that's kind of perfect, because the shit that we made for Park Rangers already, the content where we're like covering the songs and stuff, that's kind of like, I feel like perfect Instagram content. Yeah. Because it's just actually the song. And then we could honestly just do random stuff on like TikTok, or like trying out different like guitar strings or like whatever, just kind of random
I like
shit.
that. And then also just like post the videos of us whenever we jam out together. Yeah. Not even writing a song, but just like having fun together.
Actually, that would be really good to do, kind of like Pomplamoose type of content. Yeah. Where we like we have a camera on each of us, and then we go back and forth talking about.
The thing about that is that's a lot of work. True. Because they have an editor. Yeah. And they have an engineer as well. True. And then they probably record a 3-hour studio session, and then they have to edit it down. Yeah. And I don't think either of us have the amount of time to spend recording every time we jam out together and then spend that much time. Also, sometimes we jam out, it's like maybe 10 minutes of that footage is like actually usable. That's what I'm saying. We could definitely try. There are some cool moments though whenever we jam out. Totally, yeah. And I think if it becomes an actual song, it'd be cool to do that. True. I'd be down to do that at some point this week, just kind of try that. But anyways, I don't know what the hell we were talking about before. We were just talking about stuff that's new, which new Park Ranger stuff. Yeah. So next week, next Friday on my channel, we're going to be dropping the first episode of we've started to document everything we're doing with Park Rangers. Mm-hmm. And every 2 weeks, we're going to post a video on either of our channels. So every month, you're going to see a new video from one of us from both of us on just the creation of park rangers, on the creation of the songs, of us going out shooting music videos, and then really big dream is like in a few months start getting into the live scene and really documenting all that.
Totally. Yeah, I think literally just having a camera on for everything we do for park rangers, and just kind of seeing where it ends up, I think is kind of going to be a cool vibe. So that's what we're doing now. So tune in to those videos.
I mean, the idea was just like, imagine if Radiohead did that. And you're a huge Radiohead fan, and then you go back and they have a video, like, 12 videos every year of just the creation of all their songs.
Because that's the thing that's so cool for me, is finding those videos of the artists. Like, I love watching like little documentary videos and like little in the studio clips, and like a lot of time they're just a minute long. But like if you had a whole like 30-minute long video every time they made a song, it'd be sick.
I mean, thinking of probably the coolest video I've seen in like the past few months is John Bellion's Waves documentary. Like him making that song, and then it's just hearing the song, becoming a huge fan of the song, and then seeing the moments when they come up with the melody, when they come up with the hook, when
You're
they
like,
come
that's
up,
that. Like that's where he came up with that.
It's so cool. There's a lot of moments like that with the country song with Cole too, where Caleb just comes up with the melody, and then Cole's sitting next to him, and Cole goes like, dude, that was beautiful. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's so sick. Yeah, I'm excited I like the idea of doing more content that's less like fabricated, like we have to make a specific song for this, and more of like, we're gonna document the process of this, because it ends up being more real and more of like a storytelling thing inadvertently, because it's like, we're just gonna show you everything that happens. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna show you everything that does happen. Whereas before, a lot of our videos were like, we know what's gonna happen because we have to have the video go like this in this particular order for it to be a good video in our heads.
Going to Goodwill, picking up an instrument, making a song.
Exactly. Or like, we're gonna do this challenge, and like part of those challenge videos, the fun is we don't really know what's gonna happen. And so tapping into that, like, we don't know what's gonna happen, and you don't know what's gonna happen, and that's why you want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because you are getting something that like, I clicked on this video because I'm interested in the ending, and so I'm gonna watch it for that. Whereas like, if it's just like making a song, okay, they're gonna make a song. I already know they're gonna make a song. There's no mystery here.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about the first video, episode 1, that's gonna be dropping soon, is it starts off with us on day 1 of the 2 weeks. We write like 3 songs, which is really cool. Just write 3 songs that are all pretty good, and then we have no clue which one we're gonna turn into a full song, and then maybe a week and a half goes by, and we haven't worked on Park Rangers at all. Yeah. And that's just, we were thinking, okay, should we start the week now? Should we push it back? Should we redo this? But then the whole purpose of the documentation is to be real. So what's the point of like lying about that? So we just talk to the camera and we say, it's been a week since we've worked on Park Rangers, but it's hard with both of us trying to stay afloat with this other stuff that we're working on.
Exactly. And I mean, having to dedicate time to all the other projects that we are also passionate about, which that's the thing, like, exactly. Yeah. Like, we have so many eggs in so many different baskets, much more than the average person. So trying to specifically go, like, I think I even said maybe in that video, like, if we were just trying to be a band and that's all we were doing, it would be a lot easier, and probably it would make better videos. But we just have so many other things, and I think that's just who we are, and that's kind of what makes, like, I think all of the little things that occur ever are what make everything happen. So the fact that like we aren't completely 100%, devoting all our time to Park Rangers, we're able to make it exactly what it is, because otherwise it would be something different if we were putting so much effort forth into it.
It's also more relatable, because that's most of every other band. Yeah, they all have full-time jobs. Exactly, and they just get to jam on the weekends or when they're off work, and it's just going to be more relatable content. And then the cool thing is, maybe in the future Park Ranger does take off and we're able to, I don't think I'll ever fully just be like, I want to do Park Rangers, I'm never going to work on YouTube again. Yeah. But shifting the percentage to where maybe 80% of our time is on the band, and then we still do spend time to drop videos and do all the other stuff that we do. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if it gets to the point where we end up like touring and stuff, like we're going to need to put a ton of effort into that. Totally. So like, it would definitely eventually would be taking up a lot more of our time either way. But yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of what we're able to do with Park Rangers, and just having the videos is going to force us to do something with it. Yeah, it forced us to make that song. Yeah, exactly. So doing that
every couple weeks. He's like, if we make one song every couple weeks, I'm happy with that.
Totally.
So, yeah, pretty cool. That's what we got going.
2025 is going to be a movie for real.
Today's April Fool's. What's been new with me? Well, probably a couple episodes, I think it was. Maybe 2 episodes now. 2 or 3, perhaps, mayhaps. I was talking about how my ear thing was bothering me. And so I went to the doctor's office, and I paid like $100, and they were like, take allergy medication. And I was like, okay, that would have been nice if I could just like, I don't know, WebMD'd that or something. But yeah, so I was like, whatever, not the biggest deal. If it goes away, I'm not complaining. She prescribed me like some sort of steroid thing, and then didn't prescribe me. She just told me like get like some Claritin basically. So I did that, and then it went away. So I was like, okay, cool. And then it came back twice as bad. Because like before, it was where it was just like, it felt kind of full in my ear, and it felt like my hearing was like not as good. It was like slightly less as the other ear, but it wasn't the worst thing ever, and I could kind of power through it. And it happened when I was doing the whole album thing, so I just kept doing the stuff. But it just came back now, like to where I couldn't even really hear out of this ear. It was like completely filled. Like, when you go underwater and get water like up in there, it felt like there was water like up in there, but it just would not come out. So essentially, what I surmised is that it was probably an ear infection that when I went in there, told me it wasn't infected, but it actually was like just started small where it was like undetectable, or what she did say is that it could become infected, but it doesn't really make sense that it would have became infected because it went away and then came back. So it probably just was infected, and then she didn't notice it, and then it got worse, and then my ear like filled up with a bunch of fluid or whatever. But I started taking an antibiotic to clear up the infection, and actually today I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I could hear again.
Really?
Yeah, so I could basically, this ear is I would say like 80% normal hearing again. So super clutch. I also I slept upright. Not like I wasn't like fucking vampire.
I slept like a vampire?
Yeah. I was just standing. You walk into my room and I'm just... But no, I slept like with my head elevated, which I think helped as well. But I basically just woke up at like 5 a.m. and I realized like, holy shit, I can hear again.
Wow, how trippy was that?
It was really crazy, and my ear was really sensitive to noise.
Yeah.
Because it basically hadn't heard anything for like 4 days straight. So it was like just an amazing breath of fresh air. It was like the most relief I felt in so long, because we were talking about it, but when you're sick, you're like, I would give anything to not be sick or not. I would give anything to just chug some water and not have it hurt my throat right now.
Yeah.
That's essentially how I was feeling. I was like, I would give anything to like hear noise and be able to fucking hear it correctly the way I normally do. But it's the worst thing ever, because what we do entirely relies on our hearing. And to have legitimately, I would put on headphones. It sounded like it was hard pan to the left. Yeah. Like I could hear it here, but I couldn't hear it here. So it was very, very weird. But then like being able today to like put on headphones and like my stereo field was back.
Wow.
Like I could hear properly again. So it was nice. So my ear, for whatever reason, the weird side effects that I got were really bad jaw pain. Like I woke up and my jaw was like sore and like just kind of like sore, but also like kind of pain, and it's all like up in here, and I don't know what that is. Maybe because yesterday I was feeling a little bit of pain before my ear cleared up, so it could just be the pressure, it could be whatever, I don't really know, but I'm definitely having some jaw pain today, and there's still a little bit of ringing in my ear, but I can hear, like I got like most of the information back. It's not as like perfect as my left one, but it's back to where like if this is how I have to live the rest of my life, I'm fine with that.
Dude, that's
It will get better, but...
Yeah, you didn't tell me about that this morning. That's awesome.
I was saving it for the podcast.
Dude, that is great news, man.
I'm actually so thankful, because like I have like a new lease on life now. Like I woke up and I'm like, life is worth living again.
Yeah.
Everything is wonderful. What a beautiful day outside.
So you were on antibiotics it's been 2 days?
Yeah, I think today is the like... 2.5 day.
Okay.
Like I took 1 pill one night ago, 2 pills yesterday, and then today will be 2, so like 2.5-ish.
Well, that's great news that's getting better right now, and you've just started the antibiotics, because that means that they're working, and hopefully in a few days it'll get back up.
That's what they said when I was looking it up, is like the antibiotics should help within like 1 to 2 days.
So
and
nice,
so like
man.
within that region it helped. So like that's evidently what it was. Was like I just had a bad infection. And I think also specifically the steroid helped to open up, because there's a tube, it's called the eustachian tube, that goes from your middle ear and then like drains into your sinuses or whatever. That's what the fluid goes through. And sometimes it'll collapse. And essentially that's what happened to me, is that the tube was collapsed so that the fluid couldn't drain. And I think the steroid that she gave me and the allergy medication, because I was taking a nasal steroid as well and regular allergy meds, I think it opened that tube up enough to get the fluid out mostly. But when I stopped taking the steroid, it closed again, like it collapsed again. So it didn't like open it up and fix it. And then when it was closed up again, it closed like maybe even worse than it was before. So the fluid built up even more extreme, and that's why it came back even worse. And it came back with like even more infected. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But now, thankfully, like I feel very, very relieved that it's clearing up now. But yeah, it definitely puts into perspective like, wow, like your hearing is very crucial to what we do. But at the end of the day, also, like if I genuinely was at a point where like I lost hearing in one ear completely, I would still be doing this.
Oh yeah.
So like I would just, fucking mix with one ear. Like
all it means is that you just have to hire an engineer. You just have to hire somebody who you trust their ears.
But even then, at that point, like everything is so visual now that like I don't even really think that I would need to do that. Like my mixes might like not be as perfect as I would want them to be normally. Like if I had 2 working ears, I would be a little bit more of a perfectionist about it. But I think like I have enough experience mixing to where like I can see how far something is panned using like a visual stereolyzer thing, to where I don't think I would need to do anything that like crazy and like get an engineer or whatever, and like I could just be like, hey, does this sound like normal to you? And you'd be like, yeah, it sounds normal. And then I'm like, okay, cool.
You could also mix in mono, which would help, because then you could get all the levels right that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, there's tons of workarounds, and the thing is, that's just goes to show like how I'm not doing this because I like want to make money off of it or I have any sort of other goal in mind. It's like I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it. And like even when that was happening, I was like, this fucking sucks, but like whatever happens, I'm still gonna keep doing it. And like even while it was going on, like I'm still doing all the things I normally do. Like obviously it's much harder to like work out and like do anything when I can't like wear headphones properly, and like I'm working out or like running, and like each step is like echoing in my head because there's fluid in there. Like, and I was even telling you, like if I tap on my head, it would like echo. Like I would hear like
so
as if it's underwater, and it was just the most annoying thing ever. And also my voice was muffled too, so I was like hearing an echo of my voice. I was hearing like a muffled version of my voice when I would talk. So like any noises were just bothering me, and it was honestly just like pure hell. And you realize how much, even as somebody who doesn't work with music like for a living, you realize how much noise you're taking in on a daily basis, where like when that's being affected in a way that is unpleasant, your whole day sucks. Like your entire day is just horrible. Like I remember I was somewhere and I was like ordering food or something, and like I couldn't hear the lady properly because I only had like one good ear to use. So I was like going like this till I like pointing my ear towards her, and it would take me like a second. Like she probably thought I had like some sort of learning disability or something, because I'm telling her the thing, and she would say something, and I would be like, okay, I gotta like wait for this ear to like process that information, like input that information. So it affects so much in your life, way more than you even realize. So yeah, I've been a really big proponent of that for a long time, like protecting your hearing. And that's right there is like something you can't even really control. Like if your shit gets infected, it's like definitely go to the doctor if you're able, and like do everything you can to like keep your ears clean and like good hygiene and all that kind of stuff. But like the big thing is don't listen to music super, super loud, and like don't go to concerts all the time where you don't have any hearing protection, because like it's easy to like be like really young and listen to loud music and be like, this is fine, this isn't going to affect me. It's same with anything else you do that's harmful to your health. Like I can drink a bunch when I'm young and it doesn't really matter. And then like you see the guys who like drank a bunch when they were in college and they're like fat now. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't realize that something that you're not like invincible until you know you become wow, I'm not invincible.
Well,
you know?
you just forget that you're in a human body.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you can get so desensitized to being a human.
Yeah.
That's walking on this floating rock.
100%.
And then your hearing goes out and you realize, oh, I have ears.
Yeah.
That's how I input sound, is I have ears.
Exactly. Well, me and Caleb were just talking about, like, the human body is so complex.
Yeah.
And it's so complex and it's so insane that the majority of the time, like, we're just chilling. Like, everything just works the way it properly should the majority of the time. That's an incredible testament to, like, the way that our bodies function and just, like, the natural way of things. It's pretty unreal. Because I was even looking at because my ear was so fucked, there was times when I would get, like, kind of dizzy because your ears are like your equilibrium, and it's like how you balance and everything as well. And I was looking up a video to, like, learn how that works, like how your ears help us balance. And they were showing all the diagrams of, like, inside the ear. And it's the most complicated shit ever. And like all of these tiny little, like, canals and muscles and things, they all have individual names that are like insane, like, you know, 20-letter word names and all these things. And it's crazy that, like, not only that is just a tiny little thing inside of your ear, but you fucking have two of them. You have another one on the other side. And then you have all of this other shit that also is all the way through your body. That is so complex, like all of your blood vessels and everything that runs through your body. It's so intricate. It's incredible, the fact that, like, we are what we are. It's pretty astonishing once you really get deep into it.
Yeah, I saw a picture of, it was like 1 millimeter or even less, but it was like the tiniest microscopic photograph of your brain. And
I saw that.
Yeah. And it is unbelievable how complex it is, and that's just the smallest part of this huge brain. The brain is even crazier to think about. But
I remember they were like, it took like 100 petabytes to like even take this photo.
It's unbelievable, man.
So insane.
Yeah, and then we just take it for granted that we don't have and that's even more of a testament to really, like, treating your body as a temple and taking care of it. Because I mean, like you were saying, how our bodies work, you know, 90% of the time. That's not most people.
True.
Like, you and I definitely take our health almost autistically serious, but it helps us to where our bodies do function like 90% of the time, and we're not constantly sick. But I know people in my life who get sick regularly, and it's mainly because they don't have a good diet, that they don't exercise, and there's all these other things that you can preach to them. But I mean, don't be that guy, you know. Don't give unsolicited advice 24/7.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, like, you got to treat this. You're going to be carrying this thing until you go 6 feet under.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like, treat it as well as you can starting now, and then that just sets you up for the future to not run into all these problems. But the other thing is don't get so into it that you forget that there is also the world out there, and there are uncertainties. And something could happen. Like, my arm could break tomorrow, and no matter what my diet is, my arm could still break tomorrow.
Totally. And also, I think it was like maybe it was Chris Williamson. He was saying, like, it's okay if you, like, skip one day of your fucking biohacking routine, or like you don't, like, ice bath for one day. Like, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, don't be that guy who who goes on a trip with his friends for 3 days and can't have a good time.
I have to do 400 push-ups before I can leave it. Yeah, exactly.
Gets in the way of not only the fun for you, but the fun for everybody else.
Exactly. I think, like, there's a certain degree where you should be autistic about that kind of stuff. And also a certain degree where, like, you have to realize what is in your control and what isn't in your control, you know, like you're saying. This is, I was thinking about this actually yesterday, but there's a quote, I think it's this Seneca said, we treat the body rigorously so that it's not disobedient to the mind. That's a good quote.
It's a bar.
But it's true. That's why you gotta work out, you gotta eat healthy. And that kind of shit it's hard. It's not easy. Like, it's mentally hard. But, like, every time you do it, it gets easier and stuff, you know? So I think, like, it's definitely good. There's a balance. It's good to, like, be diligent with your health and everything. But, you know, take a cheat day every once in a while. Because this is, you know, you only get one shot at this after all. But, yeah. So, hearing is very important, and all of your senses are very important. And I think everyone should, if you're watching this video right now, get some water. Go stay hydrated.
Yep.
And go outside, get some sunlight. That's big as well.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited to hear that news.
Yeah.
That is...
Oh, trust me. Me too.
What else has been new? Nothing really, man. Our lives are it's pretty much the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I put flat lines on my electric guitar.
That's the most excitement you've got out of the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, it actually wasn't that exciting because it kind of messed up the truss rod.
Really?
Yeah, not like that much, but just because I put new strings on it and the tension changes. So like, because I have the floating bridge, so the strings or the springs pull on the bridge and then the strings pull on the bridge the other way. So it just messed it up a little bit, and I just had to adjust the truss rod a little bit, but it sounds a little bit better. But my guitar is like has a little bit of some buzziness going on, and I just couldn't be bothered to like sit down and do the whole like put your finger on the first fret and then the 12th fret and like do all that shit. So yeah, that's the most exciting thing I've done recently. It actually is kind of insane. Like we're like on camera, we're like pretty goofy and like we do our thing, but then like off camera, when I think about it, I'm like, dude, I don't do anything that crazy.
No, not at all.
Like I just
I'm in this
like,
room the whole day, basically.
Yeah. Like I genuinely eat like the same thing for breakfast, the same thing for dinner, the same thing for lunch.
Yeah.
And I work out and I run.
Yeah, and people come up to me and they think that I live like my friends come up to me and they think I live the coolest life ever. The fact that I get to make music for a living, and then I always have to tell them, dude, it takes a lot to even be in this position. I'm not even really in a position because I'm still scraping my way, trying to make my way. But to be in this position, you got to sacrifice a lot of the fun shit.
Totally. It's like, I'm very fortunate to have the ability to get up every day and like have the amount of free time that I have and work on exactly what I want. Not exactly what I want to work on, but like work on music, which is like what I want to work on like forever. And it's a blessing and it's super cool, but like there is a ton of work that goes into it that is just so boring. And I was thinking about that like today after I ran. I was thinking about how like unglamorous all of the shit that you need to do to get you to where you want to be actually is. Yeah. Like there is no, like it's cool like seeing the end product of things, but there's no like documentation that anybody would ever watch of just being like, here I am sitting behind the computer editing again, and I'm editing for 7 more hours, and now I'm making a thumbnail for 2 hours, and now I'm editing another video, and I'm filming this, and like all of the work in between is just so unglamorous and just so like uncool. But it is cool that you're able to make something that you're proud of and something that is cool. You know?
No, that's what I'm saying. The final piece of art is cool.
Yeah.
Objectively, it's cool that I made this song, that I recorded all the instruments, that I spent this time making this thing, and it is a piece of art. That is cool. Totally. But to get there, it just took so much mundane mixing and doing all this stuff. But
that's also not to say that there aren't parts that are cool.
Oh yeah,
like the parts where we're able to sit down and jam, and like where the parts we're able to come up with like cool, like just the moments that we've captured from videos, you know, like where we're trying to figure out a drum pattern and we're like, that's it, that's the one, and like there's for sure like moments that I think are cool and like kind of like glamorous and stuff, and us just like going and filming videos like just for the hell of it and like filming like fun little videos, like that's fun, and like those are like good memories. But the majority of the time, I would say like 98% of the time is just like doing like boring work.
Yeah, well,
it's like doing desk work. It's basically a desk job.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it's not that this work is more boring than regular work. We're saying that we are so blessed that we're able to do boring music work, but there is still boring work, and it is not as boring, but it is still relatively boring, like everybody else has to do. Everybody else has to work for 8 hours a day and go to their shift and either do the desk work or work at a grocery store or work at X, Y, and Z, and they do the boring work. Like everybody has to do the boring work. What we're saying is that we're not void from that because we're YouTubers. Yeah, we still have to do so much boring work, and it's honestly like we're working more than 8 hours a day. I'm mostly working the whole day. Right. I'm trying to fit in as much work, as much editing. Right. And it is pretty boring work, but there are, like you said, moments that you should definitely, realize how blessed you are. But the thing is, looking at us, or even just looking at a rock star and thinking, I want that job, or I want that lifestyle, you're most likely thinking of, I want to wake up late because I just partied all night with my bandmates, and I went to this party and I just had a huge show and it was awesome, and we're drinking and we're partying, we're doing all this stuff, and I get to really not care about, societal norms. I can be this outcast, I can do all this stuff. Dude, to get there, it's going to take the exact opposite of that. You need to build a regimen. You need to be a boring guy. You need to wake up early so you can go for a run, so you can get the endorphins moving, and then you can sit down and work for 4 hours before you eat lunch and eat the same lunch that you eat every day because you're trying to save money.
Yeah.
In order to be the rock star, you have to be the actual complete opposite of a rock star.
Exactly. And I think even if you happen to get into a position like that, like if you just are like incredibly talented, and also the thing is like, going with what you're saying as well, even if you're incredibly talented and like you end up getting into a really successful rock band, like just for like playing the guitar. Let's say you're like a lead guitarist. You play the guitar for still hours and hours a day, which is like it's boring work as well. Like, but it's all about perspective, I think, too. But if you get into a position like that, you most likely are not going to have built up the skills that you need to maintain something like that. So that's why you see a lot of rock stars like crash and burn. Because they get into a position where, oh wow, now they have a bunch of money, so they can have the same kind of unregimented, unscheduled lifestyle that they had been living, but now they do it with a fuck ton of money, and with money comes power. And if you have power that you're not using responsibly, it ends up badly for everybody involved. So they get into a position like that, and then it goes south because they haven't built up the necessary skills they needed to maintain something like that. So, yeah, and I think the other point that I was half in between there was that it's all about perspective. So, like, to somebody who's like an accountant, our work is like dream come true for them. Like, they would much rather just sit at a desk, like, mixing the same fucking snare drum for 8 hours rather than like bouncing somebody's checkbook. But like to us, maybe something totally different, like maybe just only playing guitar for 8 hours a day would be like the dream come true. So it just depends on the person, and like either way, no matter which way you cut it in life, like you're most of the time you're gonna have to, if you are like integrated in society, you're gonna have to do some level of work. And whether or not, like even if you move into like a cabin in the woods somewhere, you're gonna have to do some level of work to maintain that as well, whether that be like actually building the cabin or like hunting for food or whatever. Like life involves work no matter which way you cut it. So like you can't just like chill and expect to make shit work, because life doesn't work that way.
Totally. Yeah, every job has boring work.
Totally.
You're always going to have to do the boring work. And the grass is always greener, so you can always look at other professions and think it's more glamorous than it is, especially with social media.
Totally. And I think, honestly, the big thing that distinguishes like what we do from other jobs is that the overarching goal is one that we're passionate about. Whereas like if you're working at a desk job, there is no overarching goal that
That's
like
a great point.
You're like, I am so excited to, like, I might not be excited to do this boring ass work, but I'm excited to do this work and what it takes, what that stepping stone is going to be to take me to like the level that I want to be at.
Yeah, and waking up and having at least an ounce of purpose in my life. Because I'm doing something that I love instead of working for another person. Like I do have to be my own boss, and I am really hard on myself a lot of the times because I want to continue doing this for my job, and I want to stay alive while I do it, so I have to be hard on myself. But I do get to wake up and have a purpose, which is just unbelievably a blessing. Yeah,
and be able to do something and make money from something that you're actually passionate about instead of, and honestly, the biggest thing, I think the biggest factor is work on your dream, not somebody else's dream. That's like really the biggest thing for me, is like I could not really ever imagine working and like spending time working to make somebody else richer and make somebody else closer to their goals, rather than working to like help myself get closer to my goals. Because it's like my purpose in life, and I think honestly everybody's purpose in life, this is what, our capitalist society has tricked us into thinking that your goal is to make somebody else get closer to being rich and closer to the things that they want. Whereas and along that pathway of doing that, they're like, well, this is gonna help you get to where you want as well, but like you just need to shoot lower. Like, your dreams can't be as big because that's unrealistic. But when you have a ceiling, when you have a cap, because you are working under somebody else, for somebody else, that's how they get you to think that way. But when you're working for yourself and you're working on your own dream, your dreams can be as big as you want them to be, because the only person stopping you from getting there is you.
Yeah.
But when you work under like a company or you work like for somebody else, the cap is them.
Yeah.
Like you are now being controlled by somebody else. And I think that's really the biggest blessing to me. And like, that's where I feel satisfied, because I feel free to do whatever I want. And I know at the end of the day that how far I get and how successful I become is only determined by me.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't get to where I want to be, that's a reflection on myself. That's a reflection on me not having worked hard enough and me not having done the things I need to do, not somebody being like, no, pal, you're not getting a raise. You're staying at fucking 1050 forever. So I think that is the part of what we do that gives it like a lot of hope and allows us to keep going and not absolutely like want to bash our heads in because like we know that there's a goal at the end of it. I feel like, you know, a goal that's worthwhile.
Having 100% of our work go to us and go to improving ourselves, instead of having only like 20% of our work go to actually helping us, and then the 80% goes to the boss. But it is a blessing.
Even that's like the same thing with the label too. Sorry to cut you off, but like,
yeah, true.
If you were to think about us making music, but for a label
and not having the ownership,
the fact that we've built all we've built and we've set it up to where we own all of it, that is the biggest thing, because it might not be flying high off the ground right now, but it's set up on a strong foundation to where if this does take off, like we have set it up the right way.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, dude, if any of these avenues take off, it's going to be pretty fun to watch. Because we've got Sound Lodge, Park Rangers, all the videos we did together, our individual YouTube channels, like we just have so many different avenues that none of them are doing extremely well right now. But if one takes off, then naturally the rest of them are going to take off. But to your point about the, like, not having a boss, like the only person that's going to stop me is me, that is a blessing and a curse to a degree, because that leads to the nights of staying up until 3 a.m. because I'm trying to export my video, because I've worked close to 15 hours that day editing this video, because there's not a boss that says, okay, y'all can leave, it's 5 p.m. And it's like, I don't want to do more work for my boss, so I'm going to go home. I've earned these free time hours. For me, it's 5 p.m. hits, and I don't even think about 5 p.m. Like, I go until 7 p.m. until I eat dinner because I don't have that boss. But
yeah, it's like arbitrary numbers like in our case, because it's just like, I just work until I finish the thing.
But it's so much a blessing that at, let's say, 1 p.m., I can tell myself, okay, I actually want to take a break because I want to go work out. Like, that's so much of a blessing that I'm not restricted to my office and I can't go work out. Or if on Wednesday I want to hang out with a friend for like most of the day, I can gain that because I've worked really hard this week and I can be free that day.
Exactly. And also, not even if you've just worked hard that week, like you've worked hard every day for the last like fucking 6 years. So knowing that like you have, you know, not everything that you've ever done is going to come crashing down because you take a day off to like go play golf, you know? Like, it's hard to not have that mindset, but when you think about it from the perspective of exactly the analogy you're talking about, like your boss tells you, yeah, you can go home at 5 o'clock because like he knows that you've gotten the work that you can get done within that day. And also like he knows that like he might not be the happiest if you take a day off, like depending on the boss, but like if you take a day off, not the end of the world, you know, because you have plenty of more days of work and you have a lot more going into this goal of yours than just that one day. So like, like in that scenario, if you put yourself as the boss, you can be like, yeah, it's fine to quit working at 5 o'clock because I've worked the entire day. And so it's hard to separate yourself from that, like, I am the boss and I am the employee, you know, and like separate those two frames of mind in your head, because it's just like you're just yourself, you know.
You know what I'll say? We played Minecraft yesterday.
We did.
And I didn't hate myself for playing it.
I know.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
For the first time in a while, I played video games and I wasn't like, I'm wasting the whole day right now.
Exactly. I agree. And I think we should play again.
I think we should get
Thank
on
you guys
right after
for watching the podcast.
Yeah, guys. So just go. No, seriously though. Go try to ease into working for yourself. That's probably almost impossible to picture yourself doing that if you've worked for somebody your whole life. But understand that. I mean, it's a give and a take. What do you want to do? Do you want to have a disposable income to, you know, go out to eat most of the time, get some delicious food, hang out with friends, go out to the bar, get drinks, which why am I paying $30 for 2 drinks at the bar? That is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But
this vodka Red Bull is $16. What the fuck?
You can go do that if you'd like. Go have fun. But I think it's more fun, even if it looks like the most mundane, sitting at my desk working the whole day editing a video. That is more fun to me because I get to make these cool things than having the income to do these fun activities. Now, this is also as a guy who doesn't have a family. It's like that's another thing you got to think about. I mean, that's very difficult to. I mean, it's almost selfish. Like I live a pretty selfish life, that I spend almost all my time just working on things that better me, and it's because I don't have a lot of responsibilities in the family sense. And having a kid,
I mean, if you had a kid, you'd be like, I have to provide for this.
That would be the most selfish thing if I had a kid and I was like, I'm making an album. Yeah, I'm gonna make an album, and also you're gonna be having chicken and rice for every single day too, because I do that to myself. It's like that's just very selfish to do. So like we understand that it is more difficult to try to break free of the boss if you have a family, but you can put in the steps. You can build like a 3-year plan, say in 3 years I want to quit my job and really dive into the finances, track every single transaction you've made on your bank account. I get on my bank account probably every 3 days and I just write down everything that I've spent, everything that I've made. And if I start recognizing, I'm like, oh dude, I'm spending more on groceries. Why am I doing that? Oh yeah, I'm getting these cocoa powdered almonds. I don't need that in my diet. I can scratch that. Yeah.
Just like the $4 that it costs for the bag of almonds. Yeah, I think, dude, honestly, when it comes down to it also, like there's a lot of ways to make money out there. Like there's a lot of money that's out there, and you have to also kind of be creative in the ways that you make money as well. You know? Like you have to think outside of the box and be like kind of a hustler. And that's what I realized. Like if I actually put more effort into trying to make money, like it happens. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like make sure that I do these things that I know could potentially make money, like you will, you know? Like if you also are probably in a better position if you are working like a part-time job or a full-time job and just doing music on the side, because use your part-time or full-time income, use part of that to like for ad spend on your songs, or like use it for like make a product that you can sell to somebody. Like let's say that you are really good at guitar, make a guitar pack, make a guitar like preset pack, make something that you can do that is like monetizing your talents, and then use the money that you have to promote that in some way, whether that be, you know, like a lot of the way that we promote shit is like content. Like we have a following already with making content, so that's how we promote. But you can also spend money on ads. You can also like just do straight up like sending emails to people and be like, hey, I have this pack, like here's a free demo, like if you want the full thing, whatever. There's tons of ways. Like if you really put your mind to it and you're like, I'm gonna actually make money from this shit, you will do it if you have the mind for it. And I think like be a hustler when it comes to working for yourself, you know?
I agree. I think there's a fine line though, because you don't want to sacrifice your soul for becoming the businessman. And I struggle with that so much. Like 1 month I realize, okay, I need to make some money this month. So I get into my business Zol mode, and I make more content that makes more money, and I work on this pack that makes money. And then I drop the video, and then I watch the video back, and I'm like, this isn't really me. Like I feel like this isn't what people are coming to my channel for. But at the same time, like people understand that I need to make money. So it's not like I'm totally becoming a different person and people hate me for it. But
it's also not impossible to bridge that gap too. To make content that you're passionate about that also like makes money, you know? Because I mean, there's a lot of, like you said, people don't really care if you're making money because they realize that you kind of have to. You know? Like it's like that's what you do. And like if they know like this is what we do, like we make content and we make videos and stuff, like they're like, okay, if you have a sponsor on this video, it doesn't matter to the audience as much as like you think it matters, you know.
If y'all own a little small music business, hit us up. We'll literally take $20 to sponsor.
100%.
Like
we actually would.
We'll shout out your music product if we believe in it and if it's cool, if it aligns with our audience and what our values and stuff. We'll shout you out in the start and we'll just give us $20.
Yeah. Which honestly, that is the perfect example of what we're talking about. Like, we can have that business mindset, and the important thing of what you said is if we believe in the product. You know, it's like that's staying true to yourself. Like, I'm not gonna go and promote like some fucking AI product. Like, I got an email the other day, which I don't even know. Honestly, I couldn't even call it the company if I want to because I don't even know their company's name. But they've sent me like 6 different emails, and they're like, "Here's our budget, $188. We have an AI music making program that we want you to promote." And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Like, dude, I get so many AI. It annoys me because I see a sponsorship in the title and I'm like, yes, got a new sponsor this week. And then I read and it's like some other AI music making software. And I think to myself, you didn't check out my channel. Because you would instantly realize that is probably the antithesis of what I preach on my channel.
Just know that if I ever promote an AI music thing, I'm making a bag. I'm making a fucking bag.
They dropped 10K on this one.
Dude, 10K. They dropped 50K, dude. I'm not ever promoting anything even remotely AI related unless it's like a fucking bag.
Dude, 10K is a bag in my world.
10K is a bag in my world too, but like even like for me, I hate AI shit. So like if I'm doing some AI stuff, like you gotta fucking put the house up for me. It's the thing is only promote products that you believe in, and honestly only do anything that you fucking believe in ever. Like never do anything that you're not like fully invested in and on board with, you know. Like that's just like a good way to be in general.
I mean, just fall like we always preach from the legend Rick Rubin, just follow your taste. Which leads us into the question segment of this podcast. CHRSVLT says, do y'all have a specific brand image when you're making music or being an artist specifically? And that just ties into what we said. We don't, I'm speaking for me, but I know you agree because we kind of talked about this. We make the videos and we try to be as authentic as we can be. Like, I'm proud to say when I watch my videos back, I see myself talking to the camera and I don't think to myself, I'm putting on an act. Now I'm Zol. I'm Zol, the character Zol for this video. Or like thinking of like Fred YouTube channels. Like he doesn't talk like that. That's his character. I don't put on any act. I try to be as authentic as I can be. I talk about how I'm not making any money in my videos. I talk about all these things that are quote unquote embarrassing to a lot of people. And that's created the image. Right. And I think, you can, if you have this very smart marketing campaign and you want to create yourself as a new artist and create a character, you can do that, but that's going to be tough because 4 years down the line, even if you do get successful, you're going to be like Jim Carrey, where Jim Carrey has lost his mind because he's played so many different people and he's never really able to be himself. Right. So just follow your taste.
When he is himself, people are like, oh, this is a character. It's like, no, he's being himself.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so just follow yourself. Follow yourself.
Follow yourself.
I'll stop there.
Yeah. Follow yourself. No, I mean, I agree. I think the brand is you. You are the brand. And I think definitely it's different with what we do because we're so heavy into the content stuff. Like, because, like for an artist, like you can definitely curate kind of an image for yourself. Yeah. Like the like super indie kind of like maybe like kind of mysterious like artist or whatever. Like you can do that for sure. But also, even when you do that, make sure that it's like actually you, you know? Like make sure that it's real parts of yourself. Because even definitely my older videos used to be more like of an exaggerated version of myself. Like I would kind of play up like some of the goofiness or some of the things that I would do in videos. Like, and I think even especially some of my like early videos before I was even making music stuff, it was for sure I was like playing somewhat of a character on camera, but it was still me. Like it was the character is like an exaggerated me. 'Cause like the version of me that is normal is just like me kind of sitting there and like I'm just like talking or whatever. Like I'll make some jokes here and there, but like it's not as exciting for the camera as, you know, if I were to be like, what's up and blah 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 and like just kind of like crazy. But like the thing is, there's a lot of the Mr. Beast type channels. I don't think really Mr. Beast does this. He does obviously like have the whole exaggerated like YouTube persona, but there's a lot of the Mr. Beast clone channels specifically that are like
those are the worst.
Complete just fake human being. Like you're not even a real human. And that kind of shit, like you just see it and you feel like you can't even form a connection with the person because it's not them. And I think you're surrounded most of the time by people who are being genuine. Like I think if you have like good friends around you, you have family around you, 99.9% of the time, everybody who you interact with is going to be being genuine. And so your brain picks up really easily when people are not being genuine. You've trained your whole life to pick up on genuine behavior. So when anything is out of the ordinary, you might even not consciously know it, but subconsciously you pick up on like body language things, you pick up on tone of voice, and you pick up on small little like inflections and things where you're like, this person's being fake. And you might not even know it yourself consciously, but you know it. Like deep down, you know when somebody's being fake. And so the audience will pick up on that, whether it's through the microphone, whether it's through the camera, whether it's whatever medium that you're doing it. If you're not being truly yourself, people will know, and you're kind of building up a persona or like this empire on not a strong foundation. Yeah. And so it will come crashing down eventually. So the most important thing is to just remember that the brand is you. You are the brand. Like nobody is exactly you. And so that's what makes you unique. Yeah. Like you don't have to have some gimmick. You don't have to have some like personality and like macho guy or like mysterious guy or like whatever. Just be yourself.
It's a nice feeling knowing that if my YouTube channel were to blow up, I wouldn't have this alert crisis of, oh wow, okay, I gotta keep playing into this, man. I gotta keep doing this thing. I'm kind of shackled to this identity. If my YouTube channel blows up, I can just keep being myself. Yeah, like I'll slowly stop talking about how broke I am. Yeah, so I'll start making a little bit more money, but I'll still be real about other aspects of my life. And I think y'all should definitely do the same. Like,
totally.
I think the best advice, and it really like it's you got to choose if you want to do it or not, but it's be embarrassing. Like be embarrassing to the camera. And I know that's difficult to think of if you think of your friends following you on Instagram, right? And then them seeing like a very real video from you, but maybe you just make the channel and don't tell your friends and start posting on YouTube and connecting with other people that way. Yeah. But like, let's say you went through a breakup, talk about the breakup. Yeah. Talk about how you're struggling in this, struggling in that, and then people are just going to connect with that.
Exactly. That's the shit that people relate to. Like, nobody is going to really relate to, like, the Mr. Beast, let's blow up 15 fucking Lamborghinis content.
And not everybody can do that.
Exactly. It's not a relatable thing. That's why, like, I think just the real content in general has been doing so much better because it's, like, shit that people actually go through.
Dude, my favorite YouTuber right now is a guy who works the night shift at 7-Eleven. Really? Have you seen his videos?
No, I think you talked about that.
Yeah, he's popping off, dude, because he's just making the most real content ever. His titles are, I'm in my 30s and I still work night shift at 7-Eleven. And he lives with his grandmother, which is like super cool. And he's like hanging out. There's clips of him like trying candies with his grandmother that he got at the night shift. And then he's showing up to work, talking with his coworkers. They're just goofing off. And then he'll get in the car and he'll be real and he'll be like, I want to get out of this job. It's sucking the soul out of me, and I feel like I'm not achieving enough. And like, dude, I totally resonate with that. Like, a part of me totally resonates with that, and I respect his genuine attitude and his authenticity. But I'm sure before he posted that video, he thought to himself, this is embarrassing. Yeah, I do not want to post this. Like, my friends are going to see this, and they're going to think I'm a failure. Right. But I mean, he's popping now because people respect his genuine attitude.
Totally. I think, honestly, we've gone into such a time period before this where the whole, like, 6ix9ine, be as much of a fucking goofball to get as much attention as possible. And I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but the way that, like, culture works and the way that trends work is that the pendulum swings to both sides. And so the trend will be super cancel culture, like cancel everybody for fucking everything they possibly ever have said, and then it swings back to the other side and people are just dropping the N-word on Instagram willy-nilly now, and it's like it swings both ways to where like this is now okay and now completely the total opposite thing is okay. And I think before that, it's gone back now to like edgy humor and like edgy stuff is like more accepted in society. Before it was cancel culture, and before that it was Filthy Frank and iDubbbz and all that kind of content. Before it always swings back to both sides, and so for a long time it was be as fucking weird and crazy as you can, like with all these weird rappers that were coming out and like doing all this just insane shit and getting weird face tattoos and all this kind of stuff. And now it's swung back the other way to like, I want to see the guy who's, 22 and has a kid and like didn't mean to have a kid, but like that's his life, and like he's got to make chicken nuggets for his fucking daughter and like all that kind of stuff. And it's like that's the cool content that like people want to see because it's real. And I hope that the pendulum stays on this side for a little bit longer, because I fucking don't want to see it go back to like I'm gonna fucking dye my hair rainbow colors and get a face tattoo and like all this kind of shit. So like I hope it sticks around like this for a while longer, because I think that's what humans need. And I think it's interesting because social media is such like a new landscape that really we're all still figuring out what works, and what we want to see on social media and what we want to consume and what we want to like create. So it's interesting to see that kind of unfold in real time and see how the trends change and see how social media and all that's changed over the years. So it's interesting, but yeah, I hope it stays for the real content a little bit longer.
Yeah, the answer is I don't think about it one bit.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm just myself, really. Now, when I make music, I do the same.
Yeah,
I just make what I want to make and I follow my taste. I don't think to myself, okay, wait, this is getting a little bit too flamenco. This isn't indie pop. It's like I like the way this sounds. Yeah, and that's me. Like my sound is what I like, so I'm just gonna keep following that.
For me, there's definitely times when I'm like, okay, like this sounds a little bit too like happy sounding for the sound that I'm trying to go for. Like if I have a goal in mind for a specific song, like all right, I don't like this chord in here because it kind of leads your ear in the wrong direction or whatever. I'll have moments like that, but that's again still my taste.
Yeah, totally.
It's like it's still like I am taking into consideration other genres and other things, and like I guess other like ideas or branding or imaging or whatever from other things, but it's all comes down to like just what I like and what I don't like anyway. So that's the most important thing, is like your style and with anything you do is just what you like and what you don't like. So figure that out as soon as possible. Yeah. And stay true to that.
I mean, what kind of content do you like? If you like the Mr. Beast content, then yeah, be the Mr. Beast content. But most of us don't really resonate with that, so that's why we're not following it. But if that's the real you, if you're like that at school, then I guess go for that. Yeah. If you go up to your friends and say, guys, what would it be like if I blew up my classroom?
I hired an assassin to chase me and try to kill me in 24 hours.
Let's get into we didn't talk about songs we've music time.
That's true.
Which guys, album of the year, The Real Me from Kyle Mooney. Y'all need to listen to this as soon as possible.
Kyle M, actually.
Yeah, Kyle M, sorry. This is the greatest album, I think, of the decade, I'd say, so far. And it's just probably the most authentic album. That I'm not lying about. Yeah, so y'all should check it out. And it's going to be here for the rest of the time. No, I'm kidding.
Never.
This is our first sponsor, is Kyle M, The Real Me.
Yep, he's sponsoring the video.
The Real Me.
The Real Me.
New songs I've been listening to, Ain't For Me, Colt Murphy. That's a banger. Y'all should all go check that out. The rising new country songwriter from Nashtown.
Yeah, exactly.
Share the Stars from Zolan Fizo. That's another one.
Yeah. What do you have to say for those guys?
Those guys upcoming in town from the Oklahoma, because they're in Homa and they're on top of
pretty homo.
Zolan Fizo, Share the Stars, great homo artists. No Men I Trust new album. That dude, dope. I love the sound of that album. I remember before that album dropped, I was talking to you about how I kind of want to hear a new sound from them, and this very cohesive.
Totally.
Well, yeah, I want to hear your thoughts because you are the Men I Trust man.
I liked it a lot. It was very like the fact that it's named like horse, like a horse genus. It gives me a very horse vibe, which is odd, but like it does. And I think all of it is very. It's got like a kind of a rustic feel to it.
Yeah, rustic's a good word. It's like rustic, kind of like indie genre horror, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's some like, it's just, I mean, naturally their music is a little on the weird side, but there's a lot of things that are just like a little bit, just slightly offsetting. Like I'm just tilting the chair up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like Appalachian horror, like rustic. But no, I wouldn't say horror, but like it's just like there's parts of it that are mildly unsettling, but also very soothing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of vibe. It's kind of like liminal spaces a little bit. But just a touch of that vibe. But also it's got a much more folky sound to it than a lot of their other albums and stuff. So it's really cool to see them
raw.
It's cool to see them kind of do some different stuff. So I enjoyed that for sure. I listened to it before it even came out on Spotify. I remember when I listened to it on YouTube because it dropped earlier on YouTube, and I was listening with the YouTube app open in my phone, and I walked to the Walmart to get groceries, and I was like, this is gonna be my like workout, whatever. And then I carried the groceries, and I was doing like farmer carry, and it was a good workout. But I remember listening to that. That's when I listened to the album, and because I had YouTube open, there was ads interspersed between some of the songs. So like one of the songs was just like a Simply Piano ad or like whatever it is, and it started playing Gymno PD, and I was like, what they use this in the song? Can they fucking do that? And then I was like, no, there's no way, like, because I was waiting for like drums to come in or them to start singing on it, and then I took out the thing and it was a fucking ad, so I was disappointed, honestly, because it would have been kind of sick.
Did you have to put all the groceries down every time to skip the ads?
No, I would switch hands, and so I would double the weight in one hand, and then I would switch them back over. But that's a good workout, actually.
Yeah, I did that once, and I put them in my backpack, and I got too much groceries. And I remember I put all the groceries in my backpack before I left, and I thought to myself, well, got too much groceries, so I couldn't zip the backpack all the way.
Oh, yeah.
So the whole time I was walking like tilted a little bit with just bags coming out of my backpack, and everybody thought I was homeless walking back to my house.
Yeah, but you came back to a house. So
and I had a good little quad burn from it.
Yeah. When I did mine, because I was doing just holding it in my hands, I had a good like trap burn. Yeah. It was very nice.
When do you get back into a rucks?
Yeah.
It's rucking season.
It is ruck season. It's getting nice.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. It was kind of hell some of the time.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, it is a workout that we're not used to. Totally. Any other tunes?
Yeah, I've been listening to... I dove back into Portishead because I was a big Portishead fan for like a while, probably like a couple of years ago. And then it's just been a long time since I've listened to them. So I've been listening to some Portishead. There's also some...
I don't know if I've heard of them.
Portishead's fucking classic.
Really?
Yeah, they are great. Like we're talking about like horror type songs. That's
a pretty horror name.
Perfect. My mom was telling me about how... So like when you hear, I would recommend listening to their main album that I think it's called Dummy. I would listen to that album. My mom said that she was listening to that album. It might have even been before I was born, but maybe like when I was maybe like 1 or 2 or something. She was listening to that album. And they were like house sitting for somebody.
Ooh.
And the power like went out, and it was like the lights were flickering.
Yeah.
And it was just like the perfect like haunted vibe.
Wow,
and so
that's cool.
that album is an incredible album, and it's kind of the birth of like, I guess what people call like trip hop. And
yeah, I have a song saved from that album.
Yeah, Beth Gibbons, I'm pretty sure that's the lead singer. Incredible voice. It's amazing. There's a clip which is like one of the best fucking clips ever. My mom actually sent it to me. She is singing. They're doing like a live performance where she's singing with like an orchestra, like strings and everybody. And she's singing in the microphone, and she's got a cigarette. And it's this like classic 90s vibe. And she's just singing to the mic like this, and she's got the cig in the one hand. It's so badass.
That's sick.
But yeah, I've listened to Portishead, and then I've also been listening to a lot of slow pulp lately.
Slow pulp's so good, man.
And I've realized that slow pulp does not have that much music.
Really?
They don't really have... They have, like, basically, like, 2 albums and then, like, a few singles. But, like, when it comes to, like, the grand scheme of bands and, like, having a lot of music, they don't really have a whole lot.
They haven't dropped recently either, have they?
They really haven't. So I'm excited to see, like, what they got coming in the future because they just have a great sound.
Yeah, I love slow pulp.
And they have just a lot of great songs. And I want more music from them because I was, like, I basically listened to their whole discography, and I was like... There's not that much for me to listen to. So, yeah, slow pulp is dope.
That's drop some more tunes, slow pulp.
Yeah, for real. Also been listening to that John Bellion song a bunch too.
That's song of the year for me so far, I think.
I love that song.
That song's amazing.
I also just became a huge John Bellion fan after that. I knew about John Bellion, but I wasn't really like a fan. Like I feel like a lot of his older music is kind of like fucking corny. But like I knew he was like a talented songwriter and producer and stuff. But like after hearing this new song, I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Even the other one before this, Kid Again, was like, that's a pretty good
Kid
song.
Again is super cool.
It's good and it's cool, but like it's not really like my favorite vibe. But this new one is like sick. And I hope his new album has a lot more like
the documentary too just made me like it even more. Which goes to show like
made me like him even more too.
Yeah. Which I'm excited about these Park Rangers docs because it's just gonna make people like the music more. Also just
I saw that. What the fuck's going on there?
Guess I gotta go to the Son Holo live concert because I can't exit out of the ad.
Guess so.
Is that if that's a new feature, I might pay for that.
Forced
Skip my
ad.
music. Listen to Coleman Payne's new single.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to it, or you can't use Spotify.
The problem is like a guy like me, I would just fucking hate whoever's doing that.
Yeah, totally. It's not even him though. It's not even Son Holo's fault.
Yeah.
I don't think I follow him anymore. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
Sorry to Son Holo fans. I think I unfollowed him a while ago.
Sucks.
New artist called Elk Darling dropped a song called Think About It.
It's pretty dope.
Very cool song. Elk Darling currently has 4,000 monthly listeners.
Wow.
So shouts out Elk Darling. Let's answer another question.
Let's do that.
Let's answer another question. Athan says, what are y'all's thoughts on jack of all trades versus master of one debate? Like being a multi-instrumentalist who's pretty good at a bunch of different things versus someone who devotes themselves to trying to master one specific instrument.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That's how we answer every question. Huh. That's pretty fascinating, Athan.
The worst fucking podcast ever.
That's pretty cool.
Great question. All right, so next up we've got a question from...
Wow. That is a great one.
Wow, you
that one really
worded
makes you
that
think.
question so good. It does, yeah.
That's making me think a lot. I'm having a lot of good thoughts.
Yeah.
Thought-provoking thoughts from my end from that question.
I think they're so good, I'm going to keep them to myself, actually.
I think these are mine.
Yeah, these are my thoughts. You guys got to pay. That's on the bonus episode. I share my thoughts. Anyways, what the hell?
It was about how...
Jack of all trades
Yeah,
versus...
my buys are looking great in this shirt. Or...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Flex. Yeah, thank you, by the way, Aiden or whatever your name was, for...
Can we turn that light on and turn this one off? I need to have a better angle coming down here.
Yeah, that really wasn't good canned lighting for me to show my delts off. But anyways...
Jack of all, I think there's a little bit of value in both, because I'm going to be giving you all my thoughts, because that's what I do around here. I think there's a little bit of value in both. I think as somebody who is kind of a master of nothing, I don't really know.
That's a way to put it.
No, like, seriously. I mean,
kind of a horrible at everything kind of guy.
No, dude, like my camera, don't really know too much about camera settings, but I do know how to get something in focus and set the lighting and hit record. Mixing and mastering, I'd say I'm decently knowledgeable about mixing and mastering, but I don't know. I've tried to learn about phasing for 4 years. Can't get it down to a science. Don't know what the hell phasing is.
I also don't give a fuck either.
Yeah. Everything I make is just totally phased out. Yeah. My kick is inaudible. But yeah, also like guitars. Don't know much about guitars, but I bought a guitar about 4 years ago, and I use that, and I know how to play simple chords, and I can write from that. Recording, don't know much about that, but I can plug it into my computer. So like, I'm not a master of anything, but I'm able to make a song from start to finish and upload it to DistroKid because I'm not a master of anything. Because I've kind of dispersed my time into production, mixing, songwriting, playing instruments, recording, and then mastering.
I think it really all boils down to whether you want to do everything yourself or you want to have other people involved with what you do. Because I think if you are going to become a master at one thing, like let's just use guitar playing as an example because that's like the easiest thing to do, or like the easiest example to use. If you become like a really good guitar player, most of the time I can tell when somebody's song, like they are like a virtuoso guitar player because they fucking suck at everything else. Like their drums sound like shit, the mixing's really bad, and like that's no hate to anybody, but like you can just tell because they've put so much time into playing guitar that all the other things, they're beginners at everything else. So you're a beginner skill level at everything, and then you're like expert skill level at this one thing. Whereas if you're kind of jack of all trades guy, you're like intermediate skill level at everything. Like you're not really insane at one particular thing. Obviously some skills are better than others and some worse than others, but you've worked on all the things to where like you can create a product just by yourself, because this guy who's really, really good at guitar needs everybody else to actually help him with the other things that he's not good at in order to make a product that sounds as good as the guy who is jack of all trades kind of guy. So for me, I also not only like to do everything myself, but I like to do everything myself because like I'm just a perfectionist and like a fucking control freak. So I like to just have control over every part of the process. So I like wouldn't want to just spend, and I also love every part of the process. So I wouldn't want to just spend my time only doing one thing. Like there are particular things which I like doing and like getting better at. Like I love drumming and I love getting better at drumming and recording drums and playing drums and all that kind of stuff. So I spend more time on that. But if I didn't spend my time doing all of the things, I wouldn't really be able to do those particular things that I'm as good at anyways. So yeah, it really just kind of depends on if you want to have other people involved or if you want to just do it yourself.
Yeah. The path to success, in my opinion, leans more towards the jack of all trades. If you want
at least a little bit,
if
like,
you want to be
practice other shit a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to be an artist, if your goal is to be an artist, because it totally. If you want to be a session guitarist,
sure,
master of one, obviously just be a session guitarist and spend all your time doing that. But if you want to be an artist, rather than just becoming really good at singing and learning how to be a good songwriter, I think also learn production, which then leads into you have to learn about mixing, which leads into you have to learn about mastering, which then leads to the song's out. How do I promote it? Now I kind of got to learn about marketing.
Exactly.
It's like in the world that we live in, you kind of have to be a master of none, but have experience in everything so you are able to get your song out.
Right.
Sadly, we don't live in the world anymore where you can busk and have a great voice, and then the label exec walks across the street and hears you.
Right.
Or he hears you from the radio from this one song because your friend put you on. It's like we just don't live in that world. Everyone's throwing their music at 1,000 miles an hour every second of the day at everybody's face. So you have to be one of those people that's also doing it.
Yeah.
You can't just be this really good singer and think to yourself. It's like a little bit of pride to think to yourself, I don't have to get on TikTok because people are going to find my voice. It's like, dude, you're on SoundCloud.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody uses fucking SoundCloud.
Yeah. Like you gotta get experience in all of these different avenues. And the way to get your music heard is to have it on Spotify.
Right.
And to get your music on Spotify, you have to produce the song. Or just get a YouTube beat. Okay, you don't have to learn about production, but you do have to learn about mixing and mastering because you're going to be recording your vocals. It's like, okay, you could want to go to the studio. You don't have to do that, but then you're paying, what, $800 to pay the engineer and the studio to mix and master your song. It's like, just, it takes a lot of time, but I think I've always been a jack of all trades, master none type guy.
I think that's really the way to be. I think it's also the factor there is, let's say, back to the example of like the really insane virtuoso guitar player, kind of no one gives a fuck. Like there is a select few people, like really good guitar players who'll be like, wow, this is incredible. I'm a big fan of this guy because he can really play the guitar. Like the majority of people don't fucking care.
No, that's true. We don't live in the time anymore where it's like Jimi Hendrix, like Clapton, and there's maybe now we have Tim Henson, but
true.
It's hard to become that, or Mateo. Yeah, what's his name?
But dude, even the thing is, those guys. Oh, I know you're talking about that guy, but
he's so good.
Dude, that's the thing. We recognize these guys and we're like, they're so good. That's like 5 dudes. There's like 5 dudes I can think of who are like really, really good guitar players, and the music that they're making is at a level where it's so complex and it's so intricate that it's not accessible and it's not enjoyable to the majority of audiences.
Yeah.
So like
what band is Tim Henson in?
Polyphia.
Yeah, I don't listen to any of their music.
I don't listen to
I
them
think
either.
he's a great guitarist.
It's
I like
for
watching
fucking
him play.
old people who care about like, oh, you're really, really good at guitar, so I'm going to listen to how virtuosic this guy is on the guitar. Like, most people don't give a shit.
I think his fan base is younger. I don't even know what to call his playing. But he's like the very
You'd be surprised how many fucking old
people listen to Polyphia.
Yeah,
really.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like let's say maybe late 20s, early 30s, but I wouldn't qualify those as old people.
Even like later.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a lot of and obviously a lot of people are going to get triggered by that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm not saying that I'm not saying that all of Taylor Swift's fan base are all 13-year-olds, because I'm sure there's older people that listen to her music too. Whatever. You get the point that I'm trying to make. But the thing is, like, just for the majority of audiences, that music is not digestible. And if you are somebody who is really, really good at guitar, you're going to have to dumb down your skills anyways to make music that is like suitable with other people. It's like, it's the same thing with being a drummer. Like, you can be an insane drummer and like have all these crazy chops and everything, but like at the end of the day, if you're playing with a band, you have to play to the fucking song.
Nobody wants you to be that guy.
No, you're not gonna. No one's gonna hire you if you're the across the whole kit. Like, no one gives a shit if you can do that. Like, if you can complement the song well and like tastefully add your skills to the song, that's what matters. So like, the cap of like how good you are is not even getting used, or shouldn't even be getting used, if you're making music that is like digestible. Of course, make whatever the fuck you want, but I'm telling you, if you're playing this insane intricate stuff that is like just so crazy and so wild, and you're doing all this weird technical stuff, there's not a lot of people that are going to listen to it, and the ceiling for how many people can listen to it is not very high.
Yeah.
So it benefits you much more to like get pretty good, get like okay at enough things to where you don't have the problem of like, I'm so good at guitar, but like my drums sound like total dog shit, and all the other things of my music sound so bad.
Yeah, or I'm like mastering my song on GarageBand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nobody cares about all these hammer-ons and pull-offs if you're mastering your song on GarageBand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm doing like pinch harmonics and shit on a song where like the listener is just hears the song and they're like, cool guitar.
Yeah, pinch harmonics
like
on an iMac microphone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're doing like insane shit. Like, you're doing sweep picking and like pinch harmonics, and like somebody's listening to it, they're like, I like this song.
Yeah.
Good song. Skip. Like, yeah, I think jack of all trades is the way to go.
I think lean into an area where you do have more expertise than other areas, which naturally that's going to happen. So like me,
follow the things that you enjoy.
Yeah, like me, I would say I think of myself mostly as a producer, but I also sing and I mix and I songwrite and I make my own music. But like, if I was in a room with a bunch of talented artists, I would feel most comfortable in my job as being the producer who like helps lay out the song. I use Ableton, I help everybody record and all that.
Yeah.
And I feel like for you, it could be like you'd lean toward being the drummer or being the guitarist.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely a more instrument guy. Like, I think even, like, I enjoy producing for sure, and I enjoy like getting really like scientific and like close detail autistic about things. But if my job were just straight up to like go in there and play drums, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
So like, and also like sometimes it's fun to like, for me to do my thing on the guitar and just kind of like get in there and just fuck around with the guitar and with the instruments and stuff, and then just send you the layers and like you do your thing that like you're much better at, like mixing and doing all that like producer stuff than I am. So like, I let you handle that part and I handle my part, and I feel like it works out really well that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, play to your strengths and play to the things that you enjoy doing more than other things, you know. But I think then also, like, if you don't particularly enjoy one thing, like, then just get good at all the things, you know. Yeah. That was a long-winded answer, but
that was a long-winded answer. CHRSVLT says, not a question, but Share the Stars is dope as hell. Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Y'all should listen to that song. Let's wrap this up with one more question, maybe two. I don't know.
Maybe,
who knows?
Maybe 7.
Maybe 7.
Maybe 100 questions.
Maybe 1 billion beers.
Maybe, yeah, 1 billion questions.
Yeah, are you okay, dude? You usually come in here and get 1 billion beers.
Yeah, under 1 million beers. But today you only ordered 1 million minus 1 beers. I know something's wrong with
Hey,
you.
man, you need 1 billion beers. Yeah. I know you need 1 billion beers. All right, Eli says, do you have any hygiene tips? What's y'all's fave deodorant brand or scent?
Nope, I don't have any hygiene tips.
I have a fascinating fact that I learned recently.
Wipe your ass. That's my hygiene tip.
That's a great one. I learned that last month.
What's your fun fact you learned?
Fun fact, I got this deodorant that was a rollback on Walmart. And as y'all know, big rollback guy because I make music for a living. So kind of have to be a rollback guy. And the deodorant was, it looked pretty cool. No parabens, no animals were slaughtered to make deodorant, which I was like, oh, I guess deodorant, you need to slaughter animals to make it? That's weird. So I bought it, and it's black, and it has this yellow W on it. And I didn't even know the brand name. And then I saw a piece of content, and it said, Jake Paul's new deodorant brand. And I was like, wow.
No way.
I've got three deodorant sticks from Jake Paul.
That's pretty sick. That is a fun fact.
And I liked it. I was like, I thought it was like some like health conscious deodorant brand, but it's from Jake Paul, who
That's surprising.
Pretty shocking to me. But
That is shocking.
Big Jake Paul that guy now.
Big Jake Paul deodorant guy now.
Jake Paul deodorant that guy.
It also is on rollback because it has lead in it, and you're gonna die of cancer. Yeah, definitely. It's good to have a deodorant that doesn't have a bunch of bad shit in it. I think namely, get a deodorant without aluminum, and without like synthetic dyes is the big thing. But I like to use the Old Spice Gentleman's brand because it's kind of the cheapest, somewhat better for you deodorant that you can get.
Are you a antiperspirant guy?
Yes,
I am too.
I am. I just feel like I get too sweaty.
Yeah,
it just kind of like rolls off. But honestly, evidently, the fucking antiperspirant doesn't work.
That is hilarious.
It just doesn't fucking work, man. So maybe I shouldn't be an antiperspirant guy because what the fuck is it doing for me?
That is funny. Yeah, I used to use last episode I talked about the Old Spice, the rashes. So y'all should check that out. And I took a few swipes today. Slowly lowering my second stick, which is exciting. And I haven't swiped it in a while, and I was editing my video, and I thought to myself, I am currently in my middle school locker room. And I realized, oh, it's my deodorant. I use it because it's Pure Sport Old Spice.
I have that hardcore, like the scent association thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think I get it, really, especially with deodorant scents, because I don't really care about deodorant scents. And then I'll grab one, like I'll get a new deodorant, and I'm like, holy shit, this smells like fucking December of 2021. What the hell? And then I'm like, I smell it, I'm like, oh, it's the same scent that I used from that period of time. And then I'll just randomly, like, you're walking, you just get a whiff of your own deodorant. You're like, what the hell? Where am I right now? And then it's like, you just have that weird scent association thing. So I definitely get that pretty hard with a lot of things, even with like lotions and stuff too, and like different stuff like that. But hygiene tip, not really hard, dude. Take a shower, wash your ass, brush your teeth. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. I think hopefully they would teach you this in school, or your parents would teach you this. Maybe you're orphaned, so you don't have parents. So I guess we're your parents now. We're two gay dads.
Hello, son.
Yeah.
Take a shower, son. You need a shower.
Also, floss every night. Floss once a day. Yeah,
you're teaching me that because I don't do that.
I do that. I've been diligently flossing every single night for a long time.
I need to get back into it. I have braces on the bottom of my teeth, and it gets a little difficult.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You have braces? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
It keeps my bottom teeth straight.
I had no idea.
Really? Yeah. I mean, you can't see them. So like, I can't put the floss all the way down.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I have a dentist appointment.
That just shook my fucking world up. Holy shit!
I talked for the next 10 minutes, and you're just staring at me the whole time. You're like, he has braces on his bottom.
Every time you look at me, I'm just like staring.
You're like slowly trying to get a better angle.
I'm just like, wait, keep talking. That's crazy. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a dentist appointment. When's the last time you've been to the dentist?
I went to the dentist before I came here, before I moved here, and they filled in a bunch of cavities that I had.
Really?
And they did a totally horrible job, and the cavities, the fillings cracked within the first month of being here. And I was like, this fucking sucks. I should sue them for malpractice, but I didn't sue them for malpractice. And
Did you go back?
No.
So you have cavities right
now? No, because they've. I think it was just part of the filling cracked. I think mostly it's like still intact. I don't know why I'm feeling around for it. I don't know what's in there.
I don't know how teeth work.
I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But yeah, no, I don't have cavities because they filled them in. But and I'm pretty diligent about like brushing my teeth. I brush my teeth twice a day and like floss, and I use mouthwash and everything. So Yeah, no, I wasn't really super concerned about it. That's probably another thing that I should be more concerned about is like taking care of my teeth. But
I mean, dude, you don't eat a lot of sugar, so that's a great start.
Yeah.
But I'm going in a month, and I haven't been in like 2 years, so I'm pretty scared. I also chipped my teeth
did you really?
a while ago.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Like
a
my
little bit.
my front teeth are both chipped.
What were you doing? How
One
did you
was
do
I
that?
was wrestling with Wes,
Yeah, I think you told me about that.
and I chipped that outside of a Cracker Barrel.
Nice.
And then the other one was I was watching a movie, and I had my little bowl of slop. This was in Nashville, and I bit on my fork too hard, and it like the angle popped, and it chipped the front of this tooth. So sometimes when I drink really cold water, it can get into my teeth. So I was like, I need to go to the dentist. And then I realized, oh yeah, I don't have health insurance, so I had to deal with that rigmarole, which kind of sucks. But going to the dentist, I'm scared there might be a cavity. But yeah, some other hygiene tips: wash your pillowcases if you want a cleaner face, because that leads to a lot of acne. Also, one that I've started doing a while ago, my mom taught me this, and it helped my acne, was brush your teeth before you wash your face. Because sometimes when you brush your teeth after you wash your face, you can get some of the toothpaste on your face, and then that can lead to acne overnight.
That is a good one. I do that naturally, but
yeah.
Also, another good one is when you're in the shower, wash your hair before you wash your face as well. Because when you wash your hair, some of the oils from your hair can get on your face. So it's good to wash your hair first. My order is hair, face. Actually, my order is shave, hair, face, body.
Mine's hair, face, tumor on my side, tumor on this side, and then I've got a tumor.
Shave my nutsack for 30 minutes.
Yep. And then tumor over there too.
Yeah.
And then tumor on my right leg.
You're like fucking 40% cancer.
I'm just a science experiment.
Somehow surviving this long.
Hopefully that helps you hygiene it up, my friend.
Yeah. Also, we talked about this. I think we talked about this on the roommates podcast. But if you're not using fucking wipes, flushable wipes, which actually this is also a fun fact, flushable wipes are not flushable. You should never flush them because most septic systems can't handle the flushable wipes. So you're supposed to wipe your ass and then throw it in the trash, not down the drain.
I'll start doing that because I haven't been doing that.
Yeah, it's bad for the septic system. It's bad for the pipes and shit like that. So yeah, you're not even if they say flushable wipes, they're usually not flushable.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fascinating.
This is a fun fact. That one. I wonder if I have any others.
Sweat is good for your face and your body in general, so sweat a lot. Drink as much water as you can. That also helps you clean up.
Yeah, that's honestly the best hygiene tip is eat healthy, eat clean, and drink a bunch of water.
Yeah.
That will help with basically everything that you have. Like, it helps with body odor.
Yep.
It helps with, like, your acne on your face. It helps with, like, producing the correct amount of, like, oils on your face and your hair and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you do that and you, like, exercise properly and, like, shower afterwards, that'll be good for you. Also, don't wash your hair super often as well. Because if you wash your hair, it'll actually strip your hair of the oils, the natural oils that it needs to keep your hair like regulated and stuff. So then you'll produce even more oil and your hair will get like super fucking oily, which you don't want. So, yeah. There you go. Hope that helps.
Hope that helps, Eli. Eli was also curious if, are either of you ever going to get a girlfriend? Do you know any females? Just wondering, your value isn't in whether you have a girlfriend or not. Thank you, Eli, for that last sentence, because I was getting a little worried that maybe my...
Yes. I like the train of thought there where he was like, do you have any hygiene tips? Also, just curious about girls by chance. So we hope the hygiene tips help you pull some chicks.
I talked to a female, I think it was January 24th, because I have it in my journal. Or I didn't talk to her, but I'm inching up to it, but we were at a red light and I waved at her. But she didn't see me. Oh, okay. But I did wave at her.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
And it was like one of those awkward things where like you're just kind of waving for a little bit too long and then she like just isn't looking at you.
And then I was like, should I keep waving? Because once she looks at me, it'll be like I started waving just now, but I've been waving for the past minute. But I was really proud of myself because I drove home and I thought to myself, I could have not done that. But I chose to do it. And maybe next time they'll look at me.
That's what it's all about. I was in the grocery store the other day. I was in like a Trader Joe's type of situation.
I hear that's a great place to pick up the female origin.
That's what I've heard. Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. That's what they say. You'll find the best women there. I don't really know because usually when I walk through any sort of like grocery store, I keep my head down. Like I have my hood up and my head down. But this time in Trader Joe's, I was getting a free sample. And I only get free samples when the guy behind the counter of the free sample thing is a guy. Because if it was a girl, I like just wouldn't be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the guy at the free sample counter and I grab one of those little like exotic cheeses that they had. And then I turned around and there was a woman standing behind me in line. I think she was like a 45-year-old woman. But I like I nodded at her. I was like, and then I walked away.
You gave her the nod?
I nodded at and she gave me a little smile.
Dude.
She was like,
that's incredible.
Her husband was standing next to her, but
he must have got pretty mad at you.
Yeah, he's kind of a cuck.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good.
He
about
let that happen.
Yeah, I kind of felt like the man after that.
Yeah.
I felt like I just had sex with his wife, right there in the Trader Joe's. But anyways, I'm sure that's probably what that feels like. So yeah, that was my last interaction with a female. I think that was like 2 weeks ago. And I think next time I go to the store, which probably will be in like another 2 weeks or so, once I get the courage to like leave the house and go to the store. I think I'm probably gonna instead of going to the self-checkout, I'm gonna try to go to the person checkout.
Are you ready for that?
Probably not. Last time I tried to do it, I pissed myself.
Yeah.
I heard she had piss running down my leg, and she was like, "Is that piss running down your leg?" And I was just like, and I left the store. I left all my items, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I've never been back to that Walmart, but I'll go to a different Walmart this time.
Self-checkout's the best, man.
Yeah. Because you can steal shit. And you don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I hope that answers your question. What was the answer?
No.
No. Well, I guess the answer was, do you have any, do we know any females? I know the females that I just mentioned, the ones that I saw at the Trader Joe's.
I'm sure this doesn't include mothers.
Yeah.
Because I do know them.
Yeah. But that doesn't really count, I think. I think he's talking about non-family.
Oh. Well, those are the scary ones.
Yeah.
So
I had some of my teachers were female in school, but I feel like
I could talk to them sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We should count that.
Yeah.
So what? 3 years ago for me, I talked to a female teacher, and I'd sometimes have a two relay conversation where I'd say something, they'd say something, and then I'd say something, and then they'd say something.
Yeah. Like, did you get that homework assignment? And you're like, yes, I did. And she's like, how'd it go? And you're like,
yep,
it was good.
Yeah.
And then you leave the classroom. That's pretty good. I think it was probably honestly like 5 years ago for me.
Really?
The last time I was in school.
Wow.
5 or something. Which is pretty insane to think about. But
is it actually?
I think it actually is, yeah.
5 years ago?
I graduated in 2020. Well,
wow.
I technically graduated in December of 2019. So it's been that long since I've been in school. Wow. So pretty crazy. That's been that long since I've talked to a woman. No, but I mean, obviously Trader Joe's experience. Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't technically talk to her. I nodded.
I heard that like you need to talk to females if you just want to enjoy life more. But I get that through a lot of the music I listen to. Just girls singing.
That's true.
And they're
talking right to me.
And I talk back to them. Like, I'm just in a dark room and you just hear me. And I said, hey to you too.
Yeah.
You have such a pretty face too.
Just like listening to Claro and you're like calling responsing all her lyrics. That's fucking deranged.
That's terrifying. That is
Stay
terrifying.
away from that guy. Holy shit.
Thanks for asking, Claro.
Yeah.
I had a great day.
She's totally talking about me in this song.
Or sometimes when I go on websites and there's the little chat bar where it's usually just, some people say it's AI, but I don't think there's a lady behind there sometimes. Because the way they reply to me sometimes, like, I kind of think actually you're kind of hitting on me right now.
They're kind of into me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like, how can I help you today? I'm like, geez, pretty
dude.
forward of you. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't really know how this is supposed to go, but like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of all. Wow, I've had quite a few of talking to the ladies on that through there.
Yeah.
Sometimes girls comment on my videos. I've never replied to a single one.
It scares me too
I
much.
zoom into the profile pictures to see if it's a boy or a girl, and if it's a girl, then I can't reply to them.
Yeah, it's just like my palms start getting all sweaty and stuff, and I just can't.
I try to reply to them, but I just jam all the keys because my hands are so sweaty.
And like every time I have tried to reply, it just ends up with like an incoherent rambling of random letters.
Kind of like in real life.
I just exactly. That's very true. And so I just have to delete it, and then I'd walk away.
Yep.
It's kind of like real life. So no, we don't know any.
We don't know any females, but I'm not that like I really want to start a family at some point. But I think in 10 years they're gonna have one of the hers, one of the little AI girlfriends. So I'll probably start a family with her.
Yeah, they're gonna have AI stuff for that eventually. I think.
Hopefully, I'll be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll talk to enough cash registers that I can talk to an AI girlfriend.
Yeah, I think you should be fine as long as it's touchscreen. If it's touchscreen, I'll be fine. I don't really do good with things that aren't touchscreen, but the buttons are kind of confusing. So as long as the AI girlfriend is touchscreen, I think that should be fine. But yeah, so
hopefully that answers your question, Eli. Thank you for letting me know my value isn't and whether that was actually not even joking. That was a nice thing to fit in there because I feel like Eli was kind of worried that he was dogging on us.
Yeah, he's like, this actually kind of sounds bad. Maybe I should clarify.
But the answer is no, but yes, because I want to get one. I've heard that they're blast.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. People say that. People say it's really, you should get a girlfriend because it's really cool. And then I say it, but it's scary.
It's a scary world out there, man.
So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll work up the courage.
All right, Slodgers, be sure to keep it slogging, and we'll see you on the next episode 22. That's going to be a fun one because we're going to be doing stuff on that one.
For real, and that's going to be 1/4 of 88.
Wow.
Yeah, I brought it out in the last buzzer beater.
Yeah, buzzer beater. Got a buzzer beater. Beat it.
But bet you didn't think I was going to do that.
Just beat it. Gonna be okay. That's for you, and just beat it. I love you. It's a little Michael Jackson, Will.I.Am mashup.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What's the other song? What's the other song?
I don't know.
Gonna be okay. It's definitely a female.
Just Dance.
Yeah, Just Dance.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Actually,
I don't know. Let us know in the comments below who that is.
Yeah.
And I give y'all rights to use that in your next song.
Yeah.
Splice sample. I'm gonna make a splice sample pack.
Yeah, a splice sample pack from just random snippets from us on the podcast. And we will get banned from Splice.
Go buy some merch, please.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yep. And if you're still listening to this podcast, you are clearly trying to avoid some work of some kind. You're putting off some heavy work.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to close this puppy up. Go outside, take a few sniffs of breath air, and then get after the work and put your phone in some kind of closet of some sort.
Yeah. Put it in a little lockbox. Go do whatever the hell you're supposed to be doing. Turn this shit off. Or maybe you also might be like doing something right now.
True, a little
where
multitasking.
your hands are preoccupied, and you're like, oh, I should turn this shit off, and then you're like, my phone's kind of over there.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like earlier I was cutting up some chicken, and like I don't want to get fucking salmonella on my phone, so like I was just letting the shit ride out. So like that's probably what you're doing right now, and you're listening to this, and you're like, when the fuck are they gonna end the podcast
I
so
need
that I
Spotify
can
to auto
stop
skip.
hearing this? Yeah. Or you might be asleep. You might have fallen asleep to this podcast, in which Spotify's auto timer should turn your phone off for you after we finish
which
this.
makes me think
We should just keep it going.
we should keep it going because if they're asleep, they actually have no way to turn it off,
Right.
and we'll just get more watch hours.
True. And
So-
we're just going to stay here with you until you wake up.
Continue starting now. ASMR sound
We're
logic.
going to sit here for 7 hours. And then once the 7 hours are up, we're going to set a little timer and then be like, rise and shine.
Rise and shine, buddy.
Welcome to the world.
Be sure to go slodge it.
It's the next day. Get up and attack the day today.
Go slodge the day today, buddy.
This is your alarm clock.